Hello everyone, thank you for joining Ranger4's webcast, DevOps Leadership Skills. Here to facilitate the discussion this afternoon is Daniel Breston. As mentioned earlier, please write any questions you may have in the chat box or use the question function in your GoToWebinar control panel and they will be answered at the end. I will now pass it over to Daniel.
Thank you, Priyanka. Hello everyone. Welcome to Ranger4's DevOps Needs Leaders. This is a discussion that I've been focusing on for the last several years because what I see is people at the staff level understand what all the problems are, and the more removed from that the team leaders are, or the managers are, or product owners, or whatever you like to call them, the more they're not aware of what the real issues are in the organization. So while they think things are happening, they actually can't see everything that really is happening, and that's stopping them from improving or taking advantage of the things that they've done in terms of trying to introduce the concepts of DevOps or Agile or IT service management or tools or whatever into their organization. So I really like this picture, the Iceberg of Ignorance, because it shows the various concepts of people not really understanding what's happening the more removed they are. And when we go into organizations and we start talking to them, and we even do simple exercises like, line up in such a way that you can show from the time someone has an idea until that idea is actually in place. In large organizations, they find that very difficult because they're spending too much time in meetings and things like that and not actually getting to where they want to be or doing the things that they want to do. Oops. And we have lots of impediments as managers. And I think the very first thing is that we have as an impediment is language. When we say DevOps, when we say Agile, when we say IT service management or service or automation or testing, lots of people have lots of different meanings of that. And until we as leaders, until we as managers can sit down and get together and get everybody speaking the same vocabulary, then that's going to become a real issue. So getting people to sit down and get together is our next big thing, because we're so busy, we're so into meetings and stuff like that, we don't have the time to do what we need to be doing, which is coaching our teams and coaching our people and coaching vendors to come and help us. I was talking to the CTO at EE, and he was telling me that he used to spend 90% of his time in meetings, and he forced himself, once he got into DevOps and Lean, he forced himself to drive that down to where 40 to 50% of the time he was actually working with people throughout his organization or in a customer store of EE to try to figure out how people were using the technology that EE provided, both at the customer level that walked in up the street, but also the salespeople. And then he would take those lessons back into his environment. We have issues where we're supposed to do more with less. And how can we do that? How can we separate the concept of having a budget and the concept of actually using money when we need to? We create things every 2 weeks. We should get budget money every 2 weeks. So it's that type of thing that is starting to keep us not in a very good place. Things like testing, things like them and us mentality, things like not being able to improve a process because we think that the audit team wants it in a certain way, and we've never really sat down with the audit team and tried to come up with a different way. Not having time, not being able to develop staff. If the DevOps is really into trying to develop staff, really into knowledge sharing, so can you force yourself to have only 70% utilization of people so that the other 20 to 30% of time is fixing things or improving things or learning about new opportunities and new tools? And that way then when you start looking at your tools and you start to chain them across, you can really start to look at all the different processes and you can start to blend them together into a way that you do a continuous delivery. but the continuous delivery that makes sense to your organization. So I'm not trying to push the fact that you need to be doing something every 11 seconds, but I am trying to push the fact that, or Ranger 4 is trying to push the fact that you should be doing something when it makes sense to your customer, when it's going to provide value. Are we ready to do that? And that's what this great thing about DevOps is trying to get that culture in place such that when you do automation, it's making sense to your customer and providing value. So what is DevOps? So if you take this thing called IT service management, and I'm sure everybody on the call knows about ITIL, and you take this thing called Agile, where you create software in certain iterative short cycles with minimum viable products or minimum viable something that gets out there. And you look at a thing called Lean, which helps you focus on customers, helps you focus on what the issues are so that as you get better, you drive out the waste in your organization as an outcome. I think that intersection is DevOps. And Ranger 4 looks at that and goes, we can blend these three philosophies. We can blend these three ways of working in such a way that the collaboration and communication aspects of these three frameworks can help you do better, faster, safer. Better in the sense of lean, safer in the sense of the right stuff of governance from IT service management, and faster from agile. So if you blend those three, that's DevOps. To be able to do that, you need to have people involved. And not just the development and operation staff. You need to have people involved across the entire framework of idea to realization and the improvement of that process iteratively as well. So nothing now is set in stone. You've got all these people working together, and even sales thrown into the mix, as James Turnbull says. And if you have that, then what we've seen at Ranger 4 is opportunities for organizations to use technology, the people, the processes, and all the fun stuff, in such a way that it really enables them to increase the effectiveness and efficiency of internal staff, and customer satisfaction goes up, share price goes up. Lots of interesting new studies coming out about the benefits of DevOps. But it all starts with leadership. If you don't have leadership involved, if all you have is leadership saying, go do, and leaders aren't doing, well, let me show you, let me coach you, let me work with you, let's learn together, then that's a problem. So if you haven't read The Phoenix Project, I heartily recommend that book to you. It shows about a leadership team that's trying to get a handle on what's happening in the IT environment. And it shows the paradigm of old style leadership, which is saying do, 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 and new style leadership, which is saying learn, learn, learn. And between them, there's a philosophy that we've borrowed from the lean mentality on leadership and the different skills that leaders should have. And it's all based on the values and principles of DevOps, which comes out of the Phoenix Project and other great books on the market. And basically, if you're trying to get flow into your organization, from the time you have the development of an idea until that idea is fully operational, you need to have the right level of feedback, and you need to have that feedback as quickly as possible so that you know what you're doing and you can improve against that. Well, leadership is involved in that. Leadership has to drive that vision. Leadership has to say, because we're doing this, this is the value we get back. And we can't wait for the monthly report. We can't wait for the end-of-year budget. We need to know about it as soon as possible. We need to know whether or not we've got the right culture in place that is encouraging people and embracing change and experimentation on a daily basis. We need to know whether or not our automation is helping us get to the point to where people are delivering things when they need to. That's nice. People are innovating when they need to. That's nice. People are bringing value when they need to. That's best. but people need to understand what that is. And to be able to do that, they need to have small batches, they need to do small things, they need to work and increase processes or the way that they tool or the stuff that they do on a regular basis, and they need to be able to measure the fact that they've done that. So I don't want to run an organization on metrics. What Range of 4 says is have metrics that matter. Have indicators of performance that are key to your organization. And if you have that, that really opens up the sharing and collaboration environments of your organization. So these are the values and principles of DevOps, and it all underpins the way that leaders and managers need to work with the organization that they have underneath them, but also across the organization into other parts and or even suppliers. And that's a challenge. That leadership challenge is, can I change my mentality in such a way that I go from being I'm in meetings to I go to where I'm helping my team and my staff grow. So Range of 4 has developed several different tools that help people see that, different simulations, different games, value stream mapping, etc., to help people understand how to overcome that challenge and start that collaborative and communicative sharing of knowledge across the organization. It also says leaders need to take time to listen. When I was a director of IT at UBS, I was so busy in meetings that when people came to me and said, I have a problem, I immediately jumped to solution mode. I didn't listen as to what the real issues were, and because of that, sometimes my directions were followed, but actually they weren't the right directions. If I'd taken the time to listen, if I'd taken the time to see, if I'd taken the time to understand, then that would have helped everybody in the organization, and we would have saved a lot of time, value, rework, in doing stuff. So it's a really big issue for leaders to go from, I know everything, and because you came and asked me a question, I need to give you the answer, to, I actually don't know everything, and let's go learn together. And that gets to teaching. Well, how do we learn together? You know, can we have Friday afternoons where we stand up and talk to each other? If we have teams in the UK and we have teams in India, you know, one of the great things about that I've learned, you know, obviously being an American, but also coming over here to Britain, is that food, wine, beer is a great icebreaker. And even if you do virtual lunch breaks, where you as an organization, you as a leader, buy people lunch and over television screens, but both having whiteboards, you learn and you share it with each other, but at the same time you're eating and having fun with each other. That really drives collaboration and communication. And out of that, you encourage people to come up with new ideas and new ways of working. And now you as a leader, you as a manager, need to let them get on with trying that idea out. You need to give them time and space to do that. You need to show them that the next product feature that's getting ready to roll out might require a new level of knowledge from Jenkins or Jira or Confluence. You know, and here's a course that you can go take advantage of. So you need to be able to, you know, encourage the teaching within teams, but you also need to encourage people to go learn on their own. And that support goes across the board. It's not only support for your individuals, but one of the things that we do is we coach individuals on how to go into various parts of the business as technology people and just ask a simple question. And it's the questions that you would see in the Phoenix Project or other books. But it's basically just going to the marketing team or going into the HR department and going, what are your goals for the next quarter? What are your obstacles for those goals? You don't go into solution mode. You just write this stuff down. And you go back into your environment and you go, this is a goal and this is an obstacle. How can we use technology to help them? And as you continue these discussions on a rather frequent basis, people start to get comfortable with you. They see that you're trying to support them. They see that you've changed the way that you work, and the opportunities and solutions that you're now giving them or helping them with their goals, or helping remove obstacles. And now they want to support you. So it becomes a two-way conversation. And this two-way conversation is paramount to any success. That encouragement, that building up of stuff, is really what DevOps is all about. I love the way that Ranger 4 says the very first thing that we're going to be doing is working on the culture and working on the sharing aspects. We're going to be looking at how the organization supports each other. And once we understand that, then we can apply technology in the right way. Obviously, we want to apply technology. I mean, that's what DevOps is about, the application of technology. But if you don't have the right people doing the right thing at the right time, and if they don't understand why they're doing those things, if you're not encouraging them to help build up those right things, then no matter what you do with automation, it isn't going to get you to where you want to go. So this encouragement is a very key aspect of leadership, and being able to encourage along the way. And that encourages teamwork. And you as a leader need to be part of the team. You need to be able to be seen as being part of the team as a coach at levels maybe below you, but also being a team member and encouraging people to work together at your peer group level. So how do you have a stand-up at a peer level? How do you stand up in a board, let's say on a monthly basis, and go, here are our overall obstacles and goals, and this is the way we want to apply technology. Here is the way that our technology currently is, and how do we improve it? Here is the way that we currently do HR processes or budgeting processes, and how can we change that to encourage our organization to have collaboration, communication, and agility, but still stay compliant? So that type of teamwork goes up-down across an organization, and leaders are paramount to making that successful. We've talked about teaching, but you also have to learn. You have to give people the opportunity to make mistakes. You have to encourage individuals to be able to make mistakes in a safe manner. So, it's an overused phrase, no blame culture. But you need to be able to start your conversation with, a process allowed you to go and do this particular error. What can we do to improve that process so that you don't make that error again? Whether it's you were late on a project, whether you accidentally brought a server down, as long as it's not malicious, how can we help you learn, and how can we encourage the entire way of working to get better? DevOps is about this feedback loop, and DevOps encourages continuous improvement to help get that flow, the development of an idea until it's fully operational, up and running. And this part is a paramount part of everything that Ranger 4 is about in our courses, in our material, in the stuff that we do. I think if we don't do this, you're not ever going to get successful DevOps. This is a key example of one of the managers we worked with. He was walking around looking at visual boards. He was helping people create ways of new working. He was talking to individuals on a daily basis. And he spent a lot of time walking around. He spent a lot of time looking at the things that he had started and how they could change. He openly went into areas, and these are all business areas. These are not IT areas. He openly went into business areas and got them to talk to him, got them to show him where his IT programs or his IT technology was helping them or not helping them. And then he would come back into the IT area and help the organization do better, faster, safer. This was a very powerful moment, this walking around, and sharing knowledge and encouraging people to talk. That got a lot of idea flowing and got this particular financial services organization to do better, faster, safer. It goes back to Jesse's rule, which is don't fight stupid, make more awesome. But if you're going to make more awesome, you need to have the right culture and climate. You need to have processes that are flexible, and you need to be able to use your technology on a regular basis such that you're enabling people to do work on a regular basis. One of the great questions that the ex-CEO of Tesco, Sir Terry Leahy, asked was, name me a company that has improved since 2008 in share price, that has improved the way that people work, that has encouraged new staff to come on board and kept staff, that has encouraged new customers to come on board and kept customers, and not spent any money on technology. It's a very powerful question, but technology today is what makes a business, no matter their size, no matter what they're trying to do. Technology is now the great enabler, and the way to do that, and the way to deal with it, is all part of the leader's job now. Not just the CIO, but across the organization. Very simple exercise. Get managers in to do a strategic level view of how a process works. Limit them to 15 pieces of paper, which is the blue bit. And then on top of that, add all the technology, and below that, add the number of people that are involved, add the amount of time that it takes, and add the percentage of accuracy, of complete and accurate, from one step to the next. It's completely eye-opening to an organization when you have 8 to 10 managers in a room that are all influencers that think that they understand how the organization works, and they start seeing where the constraints are. They start seeing where the issues are. And they come back and they go, oh my word, I can't believe that we've got 55 people in the organization to sign off a business case. We spend so much time creating a business case and getting it approved, it's actually a third or 40% of the entire life cycle. No wonder we can't get anything out the door. We're spending so much time on the planning part, we haven't actually started doing anything. So how do you get that turnaround time? How do you get them then to come back and go, okay, these are the new metrics that we want to use, and these are the new ways that we want to work? They can't do that. Remember that slide I showed you at the beginning? Managers don't understand what's happening at the day-to-day level. They have to be able to, leaders have to be able to say, we understand what the problems are, but we're going to need you, internal employees and external people, to come help us do better, faster, safer. And this quote about behavior is a key metric. You walk into organizations and they have KPIs, but they can't explain why that particular performance indicator is key. If you can't tell me why that particular performance indicator is key, then I will tell you exactly how I'll behave. I will game that KPI. If you want me to tell you that we're at 90%, whatever it takes to get that bonus. But what if you change the way that you work? What if you just gave them a generic metric and told everybody else, why don't you create a metric that matches to my metric, that matches to the business metric? And in that way, you start to get that collaborative and communicative culture across, and people can start to learn about that. Now your metrics are friends, they're indicators. You know, people have red, amber, green reports. Turn off the amber. What would happen if leaders came in and said, I don't have a problem with you having red on your reports. It means that you have something that you need help with. Well, let's work together to make it green. Okay, so stop hiding behind the amber and start acting like a leader and helping people and encouraging people to do better, faster, safer. Another way of doing that is, I know people have seen, 0 to 5 maturity matrices and stuff like that. And what Range of 4 has done is we've created a maturity matrix that basically says, okay, we can give you the basis of our knowledge and our understanding based on the people that we've worked with. But at the end of the day, you need to turn this into something that matters to yourself. I hate the fact that you start at 0 and go up to 5. What does 0 really mean, or 1 really mean? Why don't you just label them and have some fun with them and create your own maturity matrix? And as you change things and you improve, start to score that and start to show how it matters back to the organization. So really make this whole maturity matrix thing yourself, and that gets a lot of collaboration and communication, not only at your peer group level, but all the way down and out to the people that have to do the work, which for me is the prime focus of leadership. The last thing is DevOps is all about celebration. Ranger 4 says, and the State of DevOps report says, those organizations that use DevOps, that benefits from DevOps, that encourage leaders to be leaders, see improved customer satisfaction, are more easily able to maintain their competitive edge, can prove what the value is that they're doing in their technology, can improve customer satisfaction, and really help their staff do better, faster, safer. So if you haven't read the State of DevOps reports, come to us. We can give them to you. It's not a big deal, or you can search for them online. We're more than happy to discuss the results and see whether or not you can benefit from things like DevOps. That's it for this one.
Okay.
Be a leader, have fun. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Be a leader, have fun. Okay. I just want to give a lot of the concepts in here came from two friends, or a friend of mine, Michael Ballet. He's a great mentor and sensei. Lead with Respect. So if you haven't read his book, I encourage you to read his book. Thank you very much. And Priyanka, back to you.
Yes, we do have a few questions. So what is the biggest challenge you face when teaching leadership?
Getting them to listen, getting them to want. And I think that's where visualization comes into play. I love walking into a manager's office and asking him with Post-it notes, tell me what it is that you do. Or ask a very simple question of, how do you define good? When you ask of someone, are they having a good day? Typically in the IT department, they go, yeah, we're having a good day, stuff's up, service desk phone's not ringing. And I look at them and go, yeah, but that's blah, blah. That's just your job. A good day is when you can walk into a customer, especially if you're a leader or a manager, and say, I'm having a good day today because I enabled the organization to do something, or because I helped my team do something, or because I removed an obstacle. And when you start doing that, and you start changing the word I to we, and you start changing the word to my IT organization, now you're really starting to have a good day and you're starting to mature. But you need leaders that are open to that type of change.
Okay, sounds good. And our last question, where would an organization begin when trying to implement leadership coaching? Who do you focus on?
Okay, I'm not quite sure I understand the question. I like focusing as high up as I can get to begin with. I like them to go and pick the people directly below them to start to work together to learn how to do better, faster, safer, and then continue that all the way down to all the relevant areas that are required until they're all learning together as an organization and they've all figured out how they can coach and help themselves on a daily basis.
Okay, that sounds great. So that's all for the questions. Thank you, Daniel, and thank you everyone for joining us. A follow-up email will be sent with today's slides and recording. Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thank you. Thanks, Priyanka.
Thanks.